Hello, everyone. I am Natasha, your host for today. If you are new here, I want to let you know that we upload helpful English learning videos every single day to support you on your journey to becoming more confident and more fluent in English. In today's episode, you are going to improve not only your English listening skills, but also your speaking and communication skills. This lesson is a complete B1, B2 Daily Life English Conversations Masterclass that will help you speak naturally, understand real conversations, and use advanced English vocabulary and phrases with confidence. Throughout this video, we will explore everyday situations, useful conversation patterns, natural expressions, and advanced vocabulary you can use in cafes, workplaces, shops, phone calls, social interactions, and many other daily life moments. You will listen, repeat, practice, and build real fluency, step by step, with me. By the end of this lesson, you will know how to sound clearer, more confident, and more advanced when speaking English. You will learn essential daily life phrases, advanced expressions that native speakers use, and you will practice them in real conversation examples, designed to help you think and respond faster in English. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon if you want more powerful and helpful English learning episodes like this. So, take a deep breath, relax your mind, and get ready to speak English with me. Let's begin. As we move into this lesson together, I want you to imagine that you are stepping into a typical day in your life. But today, you are stepping into that day in English. You wake up, you get ready, you talk to people, you solve problems, you make decisions, and you communicate in different situations. The purpose of this masterclass is to train your mind to think in English during these moments, to help you recognize natural phrases, and to help you feel confident when you speak. So let's start with something simple and warm, something that opens almost every conversation: how to greet someone naturally and confidently at a B1, B2 level. You already know phrases like hello and how are you, but now we are going to make them more natural and more advanced, the way native speakers use them in everyday life. When you meet someone, you can say, "Hey, good to see you," or "Hi, how's your day going?" These phrases sound relaxed, modern, and friendly. When you greet someone in a workplace environment, you might say, "Good morning, how have you been?" Or, "Good afternoon, hope everything's going well." These greetings are slightly more formal, but still natural and warm. As you listen to me, I want you to repeat these greetings softly and slowly after me in your mind or out loud, because repeating helps your mouth, your tongue, and your voice become comfortable with real English rhythms. Now let's imagine that you are meeting someone you haven't seen in a while. Instead of the usual, "How are you?" you could say, "It's been a while. How have things been?" This phrase instantly sounds more advanced and more personal. Another natural expression is, "What have you been up to lately?" This is something native speakers use all the time in casual situations. Practice saying it in your mind right now. What have you been up to lately? Let the words flow smoothly from one to the next. When you are comfortable with the rhythm, you sound more confident. You don't have to rush. Fluency is not speed. Fluency is smoothness. Next, let's move into one of the most important parts of daily life conversation: talking about your day. When someone asks you, "How's your day going?" You can answer in a simple way, but today we are practicing more natural B1, B2 responses. You could say, "It's been pretty good so far," or "It started out a bit stressful, but it's getting better," or "It's been a busy day, but I'm managing." These responses show real communication, not just basic textbook English. If your day is challenging, you can say, "It's been a long morning, but I'm trying to stay positive." If your day is relaxing, you can say, "It's been a quiet day, and I'm enjoying the break." These sentences help you sound natural and expressive. Now let's practice together. Imagine someone just asked you, "How's your day going?" Take a slow breath and choose one of these phrases. Whisper it softly or say it aloud. "It's been pretty good so far." Again, repeat. "It's been a busy day, but I'm managing." Feel how the words connect. This is how you train your speaking muscle. When you use these phrases, you show confidence and clarity, which are essential for advanced communication. Let's continue walking through your day. Suppose you meet a friend or colleague, and they ask how you spent your morning. Instead of basic descriptions, you can use richer, more advanced vocabulary. You can say, "I had a productive morning," or "I got a lot of things done," or "I spent the morning catching up on some important tasks." If your morning was slow, you can say, "I took my time getting ready today," or "I had a slow start, but I'm feeling more energized now." These expressions help you express yourself more naturally and clearly. Let's do another small practice moment. I want you to think about your morning today. Think of one thing you did. Now describe it in a natural, advanced way. For example, instead of saying, "I woke up late," you can say, "I ended up waking up later than usual." Instead of, "I ate breakfast," try, "I made myself a quick breakfast before starting my day." If you worked or studied, you can say, "I spent the morning focusing on my tasks," or "I caught up on some assignments." Repeat your chosen sentence slowly and clearly. Every time you practice a real sentence about your life, you become more fluent. Now let's move into one of the most common daily interactions you will face: asking for and giving opinions. This skill is very important for B1, B2 speakers who want to sound advanced and confident. Let's start with natural ways to ask for someone's opinion. You can say, "What do you think about this?" or "How do you feel about it?" Another excellent phrase is, "I'd like to hear your thoughts." When you ask someone for their opinion in a workplace or formal environment, you can say, "Do you have any thoughts on this?" or "I'd appreciate your perspective." These expressions help you sound more polite and professional. Now let's practice giving your own opinion. Instead of basic responses like, "I think it's good," you can say, "Personally, I feel that it's a great idea," or "From my point of view, it could work really well." If you disagree politely, you can say, "I see where you're coming from, but I have a slightly different perspective," or "I understand your point, but I'm not entirely convinced." These phrases are essential for advanced English because they show emotional intelligence and language skill at the same time. Let's practice together again. Imagine you are in a group conversation and someone asks, "What do you think?" Choose one of these phrases and repeat after me. "Personally, I feel that it's a great idea." Again, "From my point of view, it could work really well." Now try a polite disagreement. "I see where you're coming from, but I have a slightly different perspective." Practice this slowly. This type of sentence helps you sound respectful, thoughtful, and fluent. Now let's move into another important daily life topic, explaining a situation. Many English learners struggle with this because they try to translate from their native language. But explaining a situation can be simple and clear if you know some advanced connectors. For example, you can start with "so basically," or "the thing is," or "what happened was." These expressions help you introduce your explanation naturally. For example, you can say, "So basically, I was on my way to work when I realized I forgot my phone." Or, "The thing is, I had a meeting scheduled, but I couldn't find the documents." These phrases help the listener understand the situation clearly and quickly. Let's do a quick exercise. Think of a small problem you faced recently. Now explain it using one of these advanced connectors. For example, what happened was, I missed the bus because I left the house a bit late. Or, the thing is, I wanted to go to the gym, but I didn't have enough time. Repeat your sentence slowly and feel how natural it sounds. We will continue to build more daily life scenarios, more advanced vocabulary, and more speaking practice as we move forward in this lesson. This is just the beginning, and each step will help you gain more confidence, more clarity, and more skill in English speaking and listening. As we continue exploring natural daily life English conversations, let's move into one of the most common things people do every day: making small talk. Small talk might seem simple, but at B1, B2 level, it becomes an opportunity to sound more advanced and more confident. Small talk helps you connect with people, maintain friendly relationships, and make conversations smoother. For example, when you meet someone in an elevator, at work, or in a store, instead of only saying "hi," you can say, "Busy day so far?" Or, "It's been quite a morning, hasn't it?" These expressions are natural and show that you are comfortable using everyday English. When you want to keep the conversation going, you can add, "How's everything on your side?" Or, "Has your day been going smoothly?" These small additions make a big difference in fluency because they show that you can continue a conversation naturally without feeling stuck. Now let's imagine a real-life situation. You walk into your office or classroom, and you see a colleague or classmate. You want to start a friendly conversation. A natural and advanced way to start is by saying, "Hey, how's your morning going so far?" Or, "Good to see you. How's your week been treating you?" These kinds of sentences help you show warmth and confidence. When they respond, you can keep the conversation flowing by saying, "I can imagine," or "That makes sense," or "I totally understand." These responses show active listening, which is one of the most important skills in conversational English. Good speakers are also good listeners, and using these short supportive phrases helps the other person feel heard. Let's practice together. Imagine someone tells you, "My morning has been really busy." Your response can be, "I can imagine. It's been a bit hectic for me as well." Now imagine someone says, "I didn't sleep well last night." You can respond with, "I'm sorry to hear that. I hope the rest of your day feels better." These small responses make conversations smoother and help you sound caring, polite, and fluent. Repeat them slowly and naturally. The goal is to make these expressions part of your speaking toolbox so you can use them any time without hesitation. Now let's move into a very important area of daily life conversation, making requests politely. English is a language that uses softening expressions to sound polite. At B1, B2 level, you should be comfortable with phrases like, could you? Would you mind? Do you think you could? And, is it possible to? For example, instead of saying, give me the report, you can say, could you send me the report when you have a moment? Instead of close the window, try, would you mind closing the window? It's a bit cold in here. These phrases show respect and politeness, which are essential in workplaces, customer service situations, and everyday interactions. Let's practice making polite requests. Think of something simple you want someone to do. Now turn it into a polite request. For example, if you want someone to help you, you can say, do you think you could help me with this? If you want someone to explain something, say, could you explain that again, just a bit more slowly? If you want someone to wait, say, would you mind waiting for just a moment? Practice these sentences with a soft, steady rhythm. The more you repeat them, the more natural they become. Now let's move into offering help, which is another important part of advanced English communication. When you want to offer help in a natural mid-level way, you can say, do you need a hand? Or, would you like me to take care of that? Or, I can help you with that if you want. These expressions are friendly, polite, and professional. When someone accepts your offer, you can reply with, no problem at all, or sure, I'd be happy to, or let me take care of it. These short responses sound fluent and confident. Let's practice offering help. Imagine someone is carrying heavy bags. You can say, do you need a hand with that? Now imagine someone looks confused while reading a document. You can say, would you like me to explain it? Repeat these sentences slowly. Good English is built through calm repetition, not pressure or speed. Now let's talk about giving reasons, which is another key skill in daily life communication. When someone asks why something happened, or why you made a decision, you can use expressions like, the reason is, it's because, what happened was, or, I decided to, because. For example, the reason I was late is that traffic was really heavy this morning. Or, I decided to change my plans because I needed some extra rest. These connectors help you sound more organized and clear, which is essential for B1, B2 communication. Let's practice giving reasons. Choose a small example from your day. Maybe you changed your routine or made a decision. Now explain the reason using an advanced connector. For example, the reason I skipped breakfast is that I was running late. Or, I decided to walk instead of taking the bus because the weather was nice. Repeat your sentence slowly. Feel the natural flow of explanation. Now let's move into describing how you feel, which is incredibly important for natural conversation. Instead of basic words like good or bad, use richer vocabulary. For example, instead of I'm good, you can say, I'm feeling pretty upbeat today, or I'm in a really positive mood. Instead of I'm tired, try I'm feeling a bit drained, or I'm running low on energy. These phrases sound natural and advanced. If you feel stressed, you can say, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, or I've got a lot on my plate right now. These expressions help you communicate your emotions more precisely and naturally. Let's practice describing feelings. Think about how you feel right now. Choose one of these expressions and say it softly to yourself. I'm feeling really focused, or I'm a bit overwhelmed today, or I'm in a calm mood. The more you practice emotional vocabulary, the more fluent and expressive you become. As we continue through this lesson, we will build richer and more advanced conversations based on real daily life situations, like shopping, traveling, going to work, having social interactions, making decisions, handling misunderstandings, and learning how to sound natural and confident in every moment. Speaking English fluently is not about memorizing long lists of vocabulary. It is about using real, meaningful phrases in real-life scenarios. And that is exactly what we are practicing in this lesson together. As you continue learning how to speak more naturally in daily life situations, let's explore one of the conversations that almost everyone deals with regularly, talking about plans. Whether you are making plans, changing plans, or canceling plans, the way you express yourself in English affects how confident and fluent you sound. Instead of saying, I have plans, you can say, I've already got something scheduled, or I've made some arrangements, or I'm planning to spend the evening at home. These phrases sound more advanced, and they help you express yourself clearly. When you want to invite someone to do something, instead of saying, do you want to go out? You can say, would you like to grab a coffee later? Or, are you free to meet up this evening? These expressions help you sound natural and polite. Now imagine that someone invites you to something, but you cannot attend. At B1, B2 level, it is important to decline politely. Instead of saying, I can't come, you can say, I'd love to, but I've already got something planned. Or, I really appreciate the invite, but I won't be able to make it today. Or, thanks for thinking of me, but I'm tied up at that time. These responses show maturity, politeness, and confidence in communication. When you decline politely, you show respect while still clearly expressing your situation. Let's practice making and declining plans. Imagine a friend says, do you want to meet for lunch later? Your response could be, I'd love to, but I'm a bit busy this afternoon. Maybe we can try another day. Now imagine someone asks, are you free tomorrow evening? You could respond, possibly. What did you have in mind? Or, I might be. Let me check and get back to you. Practicing these phrases will help you feel more comfortable in natural conversations. Another important part of daily communication is giving suggestions. When someone is unsure about something, you can offer ideas politely using phrases like, maybe you could try, have you considered, or one option might be. These expressions help you sound supportive and thoughtful. For example, if someone says they are stressed, you could say, maybe you could take a short break, or have you considered going for a walk? It might help you relax. If someone faces a problem at work, you could say, one option might be to talk to your manager, or maybe you could explain your situation more clearly. Let's practice offering suggestions. Think of a problem someone might have, like feeling overwhelmed with work. Now offer a suggestion using one of these expressions. For example, maybe you could break your tasks into smaller steps. Or, have you considered asking for help with that project? Repeat your sentence slowly. Good communication comes from clarity and empathy. Now let's move deeper into real daily life conversations by focusing on expressing preferences. When someone asks your opinion about food, activities, movies, or plans, you can use phrases like I prefer, I tend to, I usually go for, or I'm more into. For example, I prefer staying at home in the evenings, or I usually go for something light when I'm eating lunch, or I'm more into outdoor activities on weekends. These expressions make you sound natural and confident, and they help you avoid basic responses like, I like it, or I don't like it. Let's practice expressing preferences. Imagine someone asks you what kind of movies you enjoy. You can respond, I tend to enjoy adventure movies, or I'm more into dramas and mystery films. Now imagine someone asks how you like to spend your free time. You can say, I usually go for a quiet walk, or I prefer relaxing with a good book. Repeat these softly, allowing your mind to connect the ideas effortlessly. Now let's focus on describing your routine, another essential skill for daily life English. Instead of basic descriptions, use more advanced natural expressions. For example, instead of saying, I wake up at 7, you can say, I usually start my day around 7, or I tend to wake up early most days. Instead of, I drink coffee, you can say, I like to start my morning with a cup of coffee, which sounds more conversational. When talking about work, instead of saying, I work until 5, try, I normally finish work around 5, or my workday usually wraps up in the late afternoon. These phrases help your English sound smooth and natural. Let's practice describing your routine in an advanced way. Think of one part of your day and express it naturally. For example, I usually start my day with a quick stretch, or I often spend my mornings working on important tasks, or I normally take a short break in the afternoon to reset my mind. Repeat your sentence slowly. Each repetition strengthens your fluency. Now let's move into an extremely important topic, handling misunderstandings in English. Misunderstandings happen all the time, even between native speakers. At B1 to B2 level, you need to know how to handle them politely and confidently. If you don't understand someone, instead of saying, What? Or, I don't understand, you can say, Sorry, could you repeat that? Or, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again? Or, could you speak a little more slowly? These expressions sound polite and professional. If someone misunderstands you, you can correct them by saying, What I meant was, or let me explain it another way, or sorry, maybe I wasn't clear. These phrases help conversations flow smoothly, even when communication breaks down. Let's practice handling misunderstandings. Imagine someone asks you a question quickly and you didn't hear it clearly. Say softly, Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it? Now imagine someone misunderstood something you said. You can respond, What I meant was that I'll be available later in the evening. Practice slowly. These sentences help you maintain confidence and clarity in communication. Now let's continue with another important skill, expressing agreement and disagreement. When you agree with someone, instead of saying just yes, you can say absolutely, or I agree with you, or I think you're right. These responses sound more polished and advanced. When you disagree politely, avoid sounding direct or harsh. Instead of saying no, you can say, I see your point, but, or I understand what you mean. but I have a different view. Or, that's an interesting perspective, but I'm not sure I completely agree. These phrases show respect, even when you have a different opinion. Let's practice expressing agreement and disagreement. Imagine someone says, I think working from home is better. You can agree by saying, I agree with you. It gives more flexibility. Now imagine you disagree. You can say, I see your point, but I find it easier to focus in the office. Repeat them slowly. These phrases help your conversation sound balanced and mature. We will continue building more daily life conversation skills, more advanced vocabulary, and more natural practice as we move forward in this lesson. Each paragraph strengthens your confidence, helps your mind think in English, and prepares you to communicate in real situations with clarity and fluency. As we continue building your daily life English communication skills, let's move into one of the most common and useful abilities you need to develop: describing experiences. People often ask about your weekend, your trip, your last activity, or something memorable you did. When describing experiences at a B1, B2 level, you want to avoid short or basic answers. Instead of saying, it was good, try something richer, like, it was a really refreshing experience, or, it turned out better than I expected, or, it was quite enjoyable, actually. These types of sentences show that you can express details and emotions naturally. If you had a difficult experience, instead of saying, it was bad, you can say, it was a bit challenging, or it didn't go the way I hoped, or it was a tough situation, but I learned something from it. These expressions help you sound thoughtful, clear, and advanced. Let's practice describing a simple experience. Think about something you did recently. Maybe you went for a walk, cooked something new, met someone, or watched a movie. Instead of saying, it was okay, try a more advanced version. It was a relaxing way to spend my time, or it was surprisingly interesting, or it wasn't exactly what I expected, but I learned something new. Repeat your chosen sentence softly. Every time you describe your experiences in detail, you train your mind to think in English more automatically. Another important part of daily communication is expressing certainty and uncertainty. Sometimes you're sure about something, and sometimes you're not. When you want to express certainty, instead of simply saying, I'm sure, you can say, I'm completely certain, or I'm positive about that, or there's no doubt in my mind. These expressions sound strong and confident. When you want to express uncertainty, instead of saying, I don't know, you can say, I'm not entirely sure, or I'm a bit unsure about that, or I'm still trying to figure it out. These expressions help you communicate in a soft and natural way, without sounding confused or unprepared. Let's practice expressing uncertainty. Imagine someone asks you about a plan you are not sure about. You can respond, I'm not entirely sure yet. I need a little more time to decide. Now express certainty. Imagine someone asks your opinion about something you strongly believe. You can say, I'm completely certain that it's the right choice. Repeat these sentences slowly. Fluency comes from using a variety of expressions in real situations. Now let's move into a topic that helps you sound very natural in English, using fillers and hesitation phrases. In real conversations, native speakers often pause or soften their speech using natural expressions like, well, you know, actually, let me think, honestly. or to be honest. These are very helpful when you need extra time to think or when you want to sound more relaxed. For example, instead of answering immediately with, I don't know, you can pause and say, well, I'm not really sure, or honestly, I need a moment to think. These expressions make you sound more natural and help you control the rhythm of the conversation. Let's practice hesitation phrases. Imagine someone asks you a difficult question. You can begin with, well, let me think about that. Or, actually, that's a good question. Now imagine someone asks for your honest opinion. You can start with, to be honest, I think you should take your time with that decision. Practice these softly. Using hesitation phrases makes your English more realistic and conversational. Another important area we should explore is showing appreciation and gratitude. When someone helps you, the basic response is, thank you. But B1, B2 speakers can sound more natural by saying, I really appreciate it, or that means a lot to me, or thanks, that was very kind of you. When you want to thank someone for their time, you can say, thank you for taking the time to help me, or I appreciate your patience. When someone thanks you, instead of responding with only, you're welcome, you can say, no problem at all, or anytime, or I'm happy to help. These phrases make you sound warm and polite. Let's practice gratitude. Think of someone who helped you recently. Tell them in English, I really appreciate your help, or that was very kind of you. Thank you. Now imagine someone thanks you. Respond softly, no problem at all, or anytime. Practicing these makes everyday communication smoother. Now let's move into something extremely valuable for building advanced English: describing problems and offering solutions. Daily life is full of small challenges, broken plans, unexpected delays, misunderstandings, and tasks that don't go smoothly. When explaining a problem, you can say, I ran into a small issue, or I've been facing a bit of a challenge, or something unexpected came up. These phrases sound calm and controlled. When offering solutions, you can say, one thing we could try is, or maybe a better approach would be, or a possible solution might be. These expressions show strong communication skills. Let's practice describing a problem. Think of something small, like running late or missing something. Now express it in a natural, advanced way. I ran into a slight delay on my way. Or, I've been having a bit of trouble with my schedule today. Now offer a solution. One possible solution might be to start a little earlier tomorrow. Or, maybe we could rearrange the schedule to make it easier. Repeat slowly. These skills help you handle conversations calmly and intelligently. Now let's focus on talking about goals and future plans. When speaking at a B1, B2 level, you want to sound motivated and clear. Instead of saying, I want to improve my English, you can say, one of my main goals is to improve my English fluency, or I'm working on becoming more confident when speaking English, or I'm hoping to expand my vocabulary this year. These sentences are richer and show that you are thinking deeply about your progress. When talking about long-term goals, you can say, in the future, I'd like to develop better communication skills. Or, I'm planning to work on my pronunciation to sound more natural. Let's practice expressing goals. Think of one goal related to English. Now say it in a natural, advanced way. One of my main goals is to communicate more confidently. Or, I'm working on improving my listening comprehension. Repeat softly. Speaking your goals out loud helps you stay motivated and confident. Next, let's explore expressing hopes and expectations. When you hope for something, instead of saying, I hope so, you can say, I'm really hoping things go well, or I'm looking forward to a positive outcome, or I hope everything works out for the best. These phrases express emotion in a calm and mature way. When expressing expectations, you can say, I'm expecting it to be a productive day, or I'm hoping it will turn out better than before, or I'm planning for things to go smoothly. These expressions help you show optimism and confidence. Let's practice. Think of something you hope will happen soon. Now express it. I'm really hoping everything goes well, or I'm looking forward to a successful outcome. Repeat slowly. The more you express hopes and plans in English, the more natural you will sound. We will continue expanding your conversations with deeper daily life scenarios, richer vocabulary, and speaking practice that helps you sound confident and fluent in every moment of your day. As we move deeper into daily life communication, let's explore a situation that many English learners find challenging: talking about past events in a natural way. Conversation often shifts to things that happened earlier, yesterday, last week, last month, or even just an hour ago. At a B1, B2 level, you want to avoid short responses like, I went there, or I did it. Instead, try using richer phrases that add detail and emotion. For example, instead of saying, I went to the store, you can say, I ended up going to the store to pick up a few things, or I stopped by the store on my way home. These longer expressions sound more natural and show a deeper understanding of English structure. If you want to talk about something unexpected, you can say, something funny happened earlier, or I had an interesting experience today. These types of sentences make conversations more engaging and help you sound confident. Let's practice describing a past event. Think of something small that happened earlier. Maybe you met someone, solved a problem, or felt surprised by something. Now express it in an advanced way. Instead of saying, I met my friend, you could say, I happened to run into my friend while I was out. Or, I ended up meeting my friend unexpectedly. Repeat your sentence slowly. Notice how the meaning expands and the fluency increases when you add small, natural details. Another important area of real-life conversation is talking about habits, especially comparing your past habits to your current ones. When speaking at a mid-level, avoid saying simply, I used to, all the time. Try variations like, I used to, but not anymore. Or, I would often. Or, back then, I usually. These expressions help you sound natural and sophisticated. For example, I used to wake up early, but now my schedule is different. Or, back then, I usually spent my weekends studying. These forms show a deeper control of English tenses and help the listener understand your habits clearly. Let's practice. Think of a habit you had in the past. Now express it naturally. I used to drink a lot of coffee, but now I'm trying to cut back. Or, back then, I usually stayed up late working on assignments. Repeat your sentence slowly. Describing habits is a powerful skill, and it will come up often in English conversations. Now let's explore describe as people, which is extremely useful in daily life. Whether you're talking about a friend, coworker, family member, or someone you met, you need natural and advanced vocabulary. Instead of basic words like nice or good, use richer descriptions. For example, instead of saying, she is nice, you can say, she's really warm and friendly, or she has a very positive energy. Instead of, he is helpful, you can say, he's incredibly supportive, or he always goes out of his way to help others. These sentences help you sound expressive and emotionally intelligent. Let's practice describing someone. Think of a person you admire. Now describe them in an advanced way. She's incredibly thoughtful and always pays attention to the little things. Or, he's the kind of person who makes everyone feel comfortable. Repeat slowly. Great communication comes from describing people with clarity and emotion. Next, let's move into describing places. Another essential skill. You may need to describe your hometown, your workplace, a cafe, a school, or a place you recently visited. Instead of saying, it's good, or it's beautiful, try richer language like, it has a really peaceful atmosphere, or it's a lively place with a lot of energy, or it's quiet, cozy, and perfect for relaxing. These expressions give your listener a clear picture and help you sound advanced. Let's practice describing a place. Think of somewhere you visited recently. Now describe it using natural expressions. It had a cozy atmosphere that made me feel relaxed. Or, it's a vibrant place full of activity. Or, it's peaceful and surrounded by nature. Repeat your sentence slowly. Visualization helps you learn English more deeply. Now, let's explore talking about time in a natural way. Instead of saying, I will go later, try, I'll go in a little while, or I'll head out sometime this afternoon. Instead of saying, I did it yesterday, try, I got it done yesterday evening, or I managed to finish it last night. These expressions are commonly used by native speakers, and they help you sound more natural. When talking about the future, instead of, I will do it tomorrow, you can say, I'm planning to get it done tomorrow, or I should be able to finish it by tomorrow. These types of phrases show confidence and organization. Let's practice. Think of something you plan to do soon. Now express it naturally. I'm planning to work on it tomorrow. Or, I should be able to finish it by the end of the day. Repeat slowly. Good English is thoughtful English. Another important area of advanced conversation is explaining reasons in more detail. Instead of simply saying, because, you can use expressions like since, as, due to, or the main reason is. For example, I decided to stay home since the weather wasn't great. Or, the main reason I chose this is that it's more convenient. These expressions help your explanations sound clear and intelligent. Let's practice. Giving reasons. Think of a decision you made recently. Now explain it using an advanced connector. I chose to stay in tonight since I need some rest. Or, the main reason I changed my plans is that I had too much work to finish. Repeat slowly. Each repetition strengthens your fluency. Now, let's move into talking about possibilities, which is very common in daily life. Instead of saying, maybe, you can use natural expressions like, it's possible that, or, there's a chance that, or, I might. For example, there's chance that I'll go out later, or, It's possible that I'll take a break this afternoon. These expressions allow you to communicate uncertainty in a soft and natural way. Let's practice. Think of something you might do later. Now say, there's a chance that I'll do it, or it's possible that I'll work on it later. Repeat slowly and smoothly. This helps you express yourself clearly without sounding unsure or uncomfortable. Another essential skill is expressing likes and dislikes politely and naturally. Instead of saying, I don't like it, you can say, it's not really my thing, or I'm not a big fan of it, or I don't enjoy it very much. When you like something, instead of saying, I like it, you can say, I really enjoy this, or I'm a big fan of this, or this is something I appreciate a lot. These expressions help you sound friendly and fluent. Let's practice. Think of a food, activity, or movie you like. Now say, I really enjoy this, or I'm a big fan of this. Now think of something you don't like. Say, it's not really my thing, or I'm not a big fan of it. Repeat slowly. This helps you speak with confidence and clarity. In social conversations, we will continue expanding your English with deeper daily life scenarios, more advanced vocabulary, and speaking practice that will help you communicate confidently in real situations. As we continue developing your daily life, English fluency, let's explore another very common and useful communication skill, talking about expectations versus reality. In daily conversations, people often share what they expected to happen, compared to what actually happened. This helps you express emotions, experiences, and reactions more naturally. Instead of saying, I expected it, you can use more advanced expressions like, I was hoping it would turn out better, or I thought it would be a lot easier, or I didn't expect things to go this way. When you want to talk about reality, you can say, but it ended up being more difficult than I imagined, or but it turned out really well in the end, or but things didn't go according to plan. These expressions show emotional depth and natural conversational ability. Let's practice sharing expectations versus reality. Think of something you planned recently. Now describe it naturally. I was expecting it to be simple, but it ended up taking much longer. Or, I thought it would be stressful, but it turned out surprisingly smooth. Repeat your sentence gently. This practice helps you express personal experiences in a fluent and relatable way. Another important topic is handling suggestions, especially when you want to accept or reject them politely. When someone offers advice or suggests something, instead of saying only, okay, you can say, that sounds like a good idea, or I'll give that a try, or I think that could really help. If you want to decline a suggestion politely, you can say, that's a good point, but I don't think it's the right option for me right now. Or, I appreciate the suggestion, but I might try something else. Or, I understand your idea, but I have a different approach in mind. These expressions help you sound respectful and confident, even when you disagree. Let's practice responding to suggestions. Imagine someone tells you to try taking a break. You can reply, that sounds like a good idea. I should take a moment to relax. Now imagine someone suggests something you don't want to do. You can reply, I appreciate the suggestion, but I think I'll handle it differently. Repeat each sentence slowly. These responses help you manage conversations gracefully. Now let's explore talking about responsibilities, which is very common at work, school, and at home. Instead of saying, I have work, you can say, I've got a lot on my plate right now, or I have a few tasks I need to take care of, or I'm currently working on a few important things. These expressions are natural and advanced. When you complete something, instead of saying, I finished it, you can say, I managed to get it done, or I wrapped it up earlier today, or I completed it just in time. These variations make your English sound more flexible and fluent. Let's practice describing responsibilities. Think of something you need to do today. Now say, I have a few things I need to take care of, or I'm working on a couple of tasks right now. Now think of something you finished. Say, I managed to get it done, or I wrapped it up earlier. Repeat these slowly to help your speech flow naturally. Now let's move into expressing frequency, which is essential to describe habits, routines, and repeated actions. Instead of using only words like always, sometimes, or never, you can use phrases like I tend to, I usually, I hardly ever, or I occasionally. For example, I tend to drink tea in the evenings, or I rarely stay up late these days, or I occasionally go for a walk in the mornings. These expressions help you show how often you do something while sounding natural and expressive. Let's practice expressing frequency. Think of something you do regularly. Say, I usually start my morning with some music, or I tend to check my messages before breakfast. Now think of something you rarely do. Say, I hardly ever eat fast food, or I rarely stay up past midnight. Repeat each sentence softly and naturally. These expressions help you sound more advanced and confident when describing your routines. Another valuable daily life skill is describing weather and its effect on your day. Weather conversations are extremely common in English-speaking cultures. Instead of simple descriptions like, it's hot, or it's cold, you can say, it's warmer than usual today, or it's quite chilly this morning, or the weather has been unpredictable lately. To describe its effect on your day, you can say, the heat made it hard to focus, or the rain slowed everything down, or the cool breeze made the morning feel refreshing. These expressions bring your conversations to life. Let's practice describing weather naturally. Think of today's weather and express it in an advanced way. It's been a bit cooler than usual, or the sunlight made the morning feel bright and energetic. Now add its effect. It helped me feel more awake, or it made the day feel slower. Repeat slowly. This helps you describe everyday situations smoothly. Now, let's explore showing empathy, a powerful communication skill. When someone tells you about their struggles, feelings, or difficulties, you need to respond politely and compassionately. Instead of saying only, that's bad, try saying, I'm sorry you're going through that, or that sounds really tough, or I can understand why you feel that way. When someone succeeds or shares something positive, instead of saying good job, you can say, that's wonderful news, or I'm really happy for you, or you must feel proud of yourself. These expressions help you connect emotionally and communicate like a fluent speaker. Let's practice empathy. Imagine someone tells you they're having a difficult day. Respond softly. I'm sorry you're dealing with that. I hope things get better soon. Now imagine someone shares good news. Say, that's amazing. You must be really pleased. Repeat gently. Empathy helps create warm and meaningful conversations. Another important area of communication is asking for clarification. Even advanced speakers sometimes need more information. Instead of asking, "What do you mean?" try saying, "Could you explain that in another way?" Or, "Do you mind giving me a bit more detail?" Or, "I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly." These expressions sound polite and professional. Let's practice. Imagine someone says something unclear. Respond, "Could you explain that a little more clearly?" Or, "Can you give me an example?" Repeat slowly. These phrases help you communicate intelligently and avoid misunderstandings. Now let's explore describing intentions, which is important when planning or explaining your choices. Instead of saying, "I want to do something," you can say, "I'm thinking of doing," or "I'm planning to," or "I'm considering." For example, "I'm thinking of taking a short break," or "I'm planning to try a new hobby," or "I'm considering making some changes to my routine." These expressions sound thoughtful and mature. Let's practice. Think of something you intend to do soon. Now express it naturally. "I'm considering taking a day off," or "I'm planning to reorganize my schedule." Repeat slowly. These phrases help your English feel smooth and natural. We will continue building your communication skills with more daily life situations, natural expressions, and structured speaking practice to help you sound confident and fluent in every moment. As we continue strengthening your daily life English communication, let's explore one of the most practical skills you need when interacting with others: giving advice in a helpful, natural, and polite way. Giving advice is not only about telling people what to do, it's about guiding them gently, respectfully. Instead of saying, "You should do this," you can use softer, more natural expressions like, "If I were you, I would consider," or "You might want to try," or "One thing that could help is." These expressions create space for the other person to decide, while still sounding supportive. And when giving advice in a workplace or academic setting, you can say, "It might be a good idea to," or "Perhaps you could look into." These phrases make you sound professional and thoughtful. Let's practice giving advice. Imagine your friend is stressed because they have too much work. You can say, "One thing that might help is breaking the tasks into smaller steps." Or, "If I were you, I'd take a short break to clear my mind." Now imagine someone is unsure about trying something new. You could say, "You might want to give it a try. It could be a good experience." Repeat these softly. Practicing advice helps you communicate with kindness and fluency. Now let's explore asking for advice, which is equally important. Instead of asking directly, "What should I do?" you can say, "Do you have any suggestions?" Or, "What would you recommend?" Or, "I'd appreciate your advice on this." These expressions help you sound polite and respectful. And when you want to ask for guidance in a formal situation, you can say, "I'd value your opinion on this matter." Or, "Could you give me some guidance?" These sentences show maturity and confidence. Let's practice asking for advice. Imagine you are making a decision. Say, "Do you have any suggestions?" Or, "What would you recommend in this situation?" Repeat slowly. Asking for advice with natural expressions helps you engage in deeper, more meaningful conversations. Another important part of daily communication is expressing doubt or hesitation. Sometimes you're unsure or you need more time to think. Instead of saying, "I don't know," try expressions like, "I'm not completely sure about that," or "I'm still thinking it over," or "I'm a bit uncertain at the moment." And when you need time to decide, you can say, "I need a little more time to think about it," or "Let me take a moment to consider that." These expressions help you communicate uncertainty in a calm and confident way. Let's practice expressing hesitation. Imagine someone asks you to make a quick decision. You can respond, "I'm still thinking it over," or "I'm a bit unsure right now." Repeat softly. Natural hesitation makes your English sound more realistic and fluent. Now let's move into describing experiences in more detail, especially emotions and reactions. Instead of saying, "I was happy," you can say, "I felt really uplifted," or "It made my day brighter," or "I was pleasantly surprised." Instead of "I was sad," you can say, "I felt a bit down," or "It was a tough moment for me," or "I felt emotionally drained." These expressions help you share experiences more deeply and confidently. Talking about emotional reactions is an important part of building meaningful relationships in English. Let's practice describing feelings and reactions. Think of a recent positive moment. Now express it. "It really lifted my spirits," or "It made me feel genuinely happy." Now think of a challenging moment. Say, "It was emotionally exhausting," or "I felt overwhelmed for a while." Repeat slowly. Using emotional vocabulary helps you sound expressive and natural. Another essential skill is describing cause and effect in everyday situations. Instead of saying, "I was late because of traffic," try, "The heavy traffic caused a delay," or "Traffic slowed me down, so I arrived later than expected." Instead of saying, "I was tired because I worked a lot," you can say, "Working long hours left me feeling exhausted," or "The long day took a lot of energy out of me." These expressions show advanced control of sentence structure and help your English sound smooth and connected. Let's practice cause and effect. Think of something small that happened today. Now describe it using natural expressions. "The noise made it hard to concentrate," or "The pleasant weather helped me relax." Repeat slowly. Good communication often relies on clear explanations of cause and effect. Now let's explore offering compliments, a skill that helps you build positive relationships in any language. Instead of saying simply, "You look nice," you can say, "You look wonderful today," or "That outfit really suits you," or "Your smile brightens the room." And instead of saying, "Good job," you can say, "You handled that really well," or "You did a fantastic job with that," or "I'm impressed with the effort you put in." These compliments make people feel seen and appreciated. Let's practice giving compliments. Imagine a friend accomplish something. Say, "You really did a great job on that," or "I'm proud of how hard you worked." Now think of someone who looks nice today. Say, "You look great today. Very confident and comfortable." Repeat slowly. Giving compliments naturally makes your English warm and friendly. Another common daily life activity is describing interests and hobbies. Instead of saying, I like reading, you can say, I enjoy reading in my free time, or I'm really into books and learning, or reading helps me relax and disconnect. And instead of saying, I like music, try, I'm a big fan of music, or listening to music helps me unwind. These expressions add richness and personality to your conversations. Let's practice describing interests. Think of something you enjoy. Now express it naturally. I'm really into cooking these days. Or, I enjoy spending time outdoors. It helps me feel refreshed. Repeat slowly. Talking about your interests with detail helps conversations flow effortlessly. Now let's explore how to handle disagreements or conflicts politely. Daily life includes moments of misunderstanding or different opinions. Instead of saying, you're wrong, try, I see your point, but I have a different perspective. Or, I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure I agree. Or, you make a valid point. However, I see things differently. These expressions keep the conversation calm and respectful. And if you want someone to clarify their point, you can say, could you explain that a bit more? Or, help me understand what you mean. Let's practice handling disagreements. Imagine someone says something you disagree with. You can respond, I understand your point, but I see it differently. Or, that's an interesting idea, but I'm not entirely convinced. Repeat slowly. Handling disagreements politely makes you sound emotionally intelligent and fluent. As we continue expanding your communication skills, remember that fluency is not about speaking fast. Fluency is about speaking clearly, calmly, and confidently. It's about expressing your thoughts naturally and connecting with others through real, meaningful language. As we continue building your fluency for daily life, English conversations, let's move into one of the most practical skills you will use every single day: expressing needs and preferences in real situations, like shopping, ordering food, making appointments, or asking for help. When you want something in English, instead of saying directly, I need this, you can use softer and more natural expressions like, I'm looking for, or I was hoping to find, or do you happen to have. These phrases show politeness and confidence, and they help you sound more advanced. For example, instead of saying, I need a new phone, you can say, I'm looking for a new phone with a good camera, or I was hoping to find something affordable but reliable. These expressions make your requests sound smoother and more natural. Let's practice expressing needs. Imagine you're in a store. You can say, I'm looking for a jacket that's warm but lightweight. Or, I was hoping to find something in a darker color. Now imagine you're in a cafe. You can say, I'd like something warm to drink. Or, do you happen to have oat milk? Repeat slowly. These small shifts make your English sound much more natural. Now let's explore ordering food, which is a very common daily life situation. Instead of saying only, I want this, try using more polite expressions like, could I get, or I'll have, or I'd like. For example, could I get a medium latte, please? Or, I'd like a chicken sandwich with no mayonnaise. When you want to customize something, you can say, is it possible to add? Or, could you leave out? These expressions make your interactions smooth and polite. Let's practice ordering food. Imagine you're at a restaurant. Say, "I'll have the grilled chicken with vegetables, please." Or, "Could I get a cup of tea with lemon?" Now customize your order. Is it possible to make it less spicy? Repeat slowly. Practicing real-life phrases helps you speak with confidence when it counts. Another essential daily life skill is making appointments, like scheduling a doctor's visit, booking a haircut, or arranging a meeting. Instead of saying, "I want an appointment," use natural expressions like, "I'd like to schedule an appointment," or "Is there any availability tomorrow?" or "Could I book a time for this afternoon?" These phrases sound polite, organized, and fluent. When changing an appointment, instead of saying, "I can't come," you can say, "I need to reschedule," or "Is it possible to move my appointment to a later time?" These expressions make your communication smooth and professional. Let's practice. Imagine you're calling a clinic. Say, "I'd like to schedule an appointment for next week." Or, "Is there any availability in the morning?" Now imagine you need to change the appointment. Say, "I need to reschedule. Is there a later time available?" Repeat slowly. Making appointments naturally is a key step toward fluent communication. Now, let's move into problem-solving conversations, which appear in daily life more often than you might think. Sometimes things go wrong. A product doesn't work. A service isn't what you expected, or you need clarification on something. Instead of expressing frustration directly, use natural, calm phrases like, "I think there might be a misunderstanding," or "I'm having a bit of trouble with," or "Could you help me figure this out?" These expressions help you communicate politely and effectively. When explaining a problem, you can say, "The issue I'm facing is," or "What seems to be happening is." When requesting help, you can say, "Could you please take a look at it?" or "Is there anything we can do to fix this?" These sentences show maturity and problem-solving ability. Let's practice describing a problem. Imagine your order arrived incorrectly. You can say, "I think there might be a mistake with my order," or "The item I received isn't what I expected." Now request help. "Could you help me sort this out?" Repeat gently. Polite problem solving is one of the most important communication skills in English. Now let's focus on expressing enthusiasm or lack of enthusiasm, which helps you sound natural. Instead of always saying, "That's great," you can use richer expressions like, "That sounds amazing," or "I'd really love to try that," or "That's exciting." Instead of saying, "I don't like it," you can soften it by saying, "I'm not too excited about that," or "That's not really my style," or "I'm not sure that's something I'd enjoy." These small adjustments make your English sound emotionally intelligent. Let's practice expressing enthusiasm. Think of something you enjoy. Say, "That sounds wonderful," or "I'd really love to do that." Now express mild disinterest. Say, "I'm not too excited about that option," or "I don't think that's really for me." Repeat slowly. Expressing emotions naturally is a sign of advanced fluency. Another important area is handling invitations. When someone invites you somewhere, you need more than just yes or no. If you want to accept, you can say, "I'd love to," or "That sounds great," or "Count me in." If you want to decline politely, you can say, "I appreciate the invitation, but I won't be able to make it," or "That sounds lovely, but I already have plans," or "Maybe next time." These expressions sound polite and friendly. Let's practice responding to invitations. Imagine someone invites you to a gathering. Say, I'd love to. What time should I be there? Now imagine you can't attend. Say, thank you for inviting me, but I won't be able to join this time. Repeat softly. These polite responses help you maintain strong communication skills. Next, let's move into describing daily challenges and how you deal with them. Instead of saying, my day was hard, you can say, I had a few challenges today. Or, it was a demanding day, but I managed to get through it. Or, things were a bit overwhelming, but I handled them. These expressions help you sound reflective and confident. When describing how you solved problems, you can say, I took a moment to think things through, or I tried a different approach, or I asked for help and it made things easier. These sentences show emotional awareness and maturity. Let's practice. Think of a small challenge today. Say, it was a bit overwhelming, but I handled it. Or, I tried a different approach, and it worked out. Repeat slowly. These expressions help you become a strong communicator. Now let's explore talking about routines in a more advanced way. Instead of saying, I wake up early, you can say, I usually start my mornings early to stay productive. Or, my day typically begins around sunrise. Instead of, I study in the evening, say, I tend to study in the evenings when things feel quieter. Or, I like to review my tasks at the end of the day. These detailed expressions paint a clearer picture of your lifestyle and make your English sound natural. Let's practice describing your routine. Choose a simple daily action. Now express it naturally. I like to take a quiet moment in the morning to prepare for the day. Or, I usually wind down in the evening with some reading. Repeat slowly. This will help you express your lifestyle confidently. We will continue expanding your daily life English with more advanced expressions, deeper communication strategies, and real conversational practice, designed to help you feel fluent, clear, and confident in every situation. As we move further into mastering natural daily life English conversations, let's explore a crucial communication skill, describing your thoughts clearly. Many English learners struggle with expressing what they think in a natural, confident way, especially when forming longer, more detailed explanations. Instead of using short phrases like, I think this, or I believe that, you can expand your expressions by saying, the way I see it is, or from my perspective, or what I've been thinking lately is. These expressions allow you to introduce your thoughts smoothly and make your speech sound more fluent. For example, instead of saying, I think the weather will change, you could say, the way I see it, the weather might change soon. Or, from my perspective, it looks like it could rain later. These variations help you express yourself more naturally and feel more confident while speaking. Let's practice expressing your thoughts. Think about something happening today. Now express your opinion clearly. From my perspective, it's been a productive day. Or, the way I see it, we just need a little more time to finish this. Repeat slowly. This helps your thoughts flow naturally in English. Another essential skill is expressing agreement with nuance. Not all agreement is full agreement. Sometimes you agree partially, and sometimes you want to show understanding without fully supporting something. Instead of saying only yes or I agree, use more advanced expressions like I agree to some extent or I see what you mean, or I can understand that point. When you want to show strong agreement, you can say, I completely agree, or I'm on the same page, or that makes perfect sense to me. These expressions help you communicate exactly how you feel, not just whether you agree or disagree. Let's practice agreeing naturally. Imagine someone says, I think taking short breaks improves productivity. You could reply, I completely agree. It helps refresh the mind. Now practice partial agreement. I see what you mean, but I think it depends on the situation. Repeat gently. This type of expression is very valuable in both professional and social conversations. Now let's focus on expressing disagreement politely, which is a very important skill. Instead of saying directly, I disagree, you can soften your tone with expressions like, I see your point, but, or I understand what you're saying, however, or I respect your opinion, but I have a different view. These expressions help you avoid sounding rude or confrontational. In many cultures, polite disagreement is a key part of effective communication, and using these phrases helps you maintain healthy, respectful discussions. Let's practice disagreeing politely. Imagine someone says something you don't fully support. You can say, I understand your point, but I see things differently. Or, I respect your perspective, but I'm not entirely convinced. Repeat slowly. These sentences help you show confidence without causing tension. Now let's explore a topic that appears very often in daily conversations: expressing curiosity. Asking questions in a natural way helps you keep conversations alive and develop meaningful connections. Instead of asking basic questions like, what do you do? Or where do you live? Use more natural expressions like, so what kind of work are you involved in? Or, where are you based these days? Or, what part of the city do you live in? These questions sound friendlier and more genuine. When you want to ask deeper questions, try, how did you get into that? Or, what do you enjoy most about it? These expressions encourage richer conversations. Let's practice asking questions naturally. Imagine you just met someone. Say, so what kind of work are you involved in? Or, how did you get into that field? Repeat softly. Asking questions with curiosity shows interest and builds strong communication skills. Another important topic is expressing uncertainty about the future. Instead of saying, I don't know what will happen, you can say, I'm not sure how everything will turn out, or it's a bit hard to predict right now, or I'm still deciding what direction to take. These expressions sound more thoughtful and advanced. When you feel optimistic, you can say, I have a feeling things will work out, or I'm hopeful that the situation will improve. These variations help you communicate emotions and expectations in a natural way. Let's practice expressing uncertainty. Think of something you're unsure about. Say, I'm not sure how things will go, but I'm staying positive. Or, it's difficult to predict right now. Repeat slowly. This helps your English sound more reflective and calm. Now let's move into talking about everyday decisions. Instead of saying, I chose this, you can say, I decided to go with this option. Or, I ended up choosing this because it felt right. Or, I went with this decision after thinking it over. These expressions show confidence and explain your reasoning more clearly. If you want to describe a change of decision, you can say, I changed my mind, or I reconsidered, or I decided to take a different route. These are common and natural ways to express decision-making. Let's practice making decisions in English. Imagine you had to choose between two things. Say, I ended up choosing the simpler option, or I decided to go with what felt more comfortable. Repeat gently. These phrases help you sound fluent and confident. Next, let's focus on expressing relief, a very common part of emotional communication. Instead of saying, I'm relieved, you can say, I'm glad that's over, or that's a huge weight off my shoulders, or I feel much better now that it's done. These expressions allow you to express emotions naturally. When things resolve positively, you can say, I'm really happy everything worked out, or that's such a relief. Let's practice expressing relief. Think of something stressful that recently ended. Say, I'm so glad that's done, or that's a big weight off my mind. Repeat slowly. Expressing relief naturally helps you connect emotionally with others. Another important skill is giving short explanations using transitional phrases. These are words like actually, well, basically, honestly, and to be honest. They help you organize your ideas and sound more fluent. For example, well, I was thinking we could start later. Or, actually, I already finished that. Or, basically, we just need to adjust a few things. These expressions make your speech flow more naturally. Let's practice transitions. Think of a simple explanation. Start with a transition. Well, I need a little more time. Or, actually, I already took care of that. Repeat softly. Transitional phrases help you sound relaxed, confident, and natural. As we continue exploring daily life English communication, remember that fluency comes from practicing real sentences that you can use immediately in your everyday life. The more you repeat, the faster your mind learns to think in English automatically. As we continue strengthening your daily life English fluency, let's move into a communication skill you will use constantly, expressing surprises and reactions. In real conversations, people often react to news, good news, shocking news, funny news, or unexpected situations. Instead of saying only, really, or wow, you can use richer expressions like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, or that's surprising, or seriously, that's interesting. When something amazes you in a positive way, you can say, that's incredible, or that's amazing to hear, or I can't believe how great that is. If something is disappointing, instead of saying, oh no, you can express your reaction naturally with, that's too bad, or I'm sorry to hear that, or that must be frustrating. These expressions help you sound more expressive and emotionally connected. Let's practice expressing reactions. Imagine someone tells you they received a promotion. You could respond, that's amazing, congratulations. Now imagine someone tells you they had a difficult day. You might say, that's really tough. I hope tomorrow is easier for you. Repeat slowly. Reactions make your conversations warm and natural. Now let's explore describing progress, which is very helpful in daily conversations about work, study, personal goals, or projects. Instead of saying, I'm improving, try more advanced expressions like, I've been making steady progress, or things are gradually getting better, or I'm getting more comfortable with it. When progress is slow, you can say, it's taking a bit longer than expected, but I'm getting there. Or, I'm still figuring some things out, but I'm improving step by step. These expressions show confidence and self-awareness. Let's practice describing progress. Think about something you're working on: your English, your job, your health, anything. Now express it naturally. I've been making steady progress lately. Or, I'm still learning, but I'm feeling more confident. Repeat softly. These phrases help you communicate positively about your growth. Another important skill is describing options and choices. Daily life often requires you to choose between different things: food, clothes, activities, plans, or decisions. Instead of saying only, I have two options, try, I'm deciding between two choices. Or, I have a couple of possibilities. Or, I'm torn between these two ideas. When you explain your choice, you can say, I went with this option because, or I chose this since it seemed more practical, or I preferred this one because it felt more comfortable. These expressions sound fluent and thoughtful. Let's practice explaining choices. Imagine you had to choose something today. You can say, I ended up choosing this option because it seemed more convenient. Or, I was torn between two choices, but I picked the simpler one. Repeat slowly. Explaining choices clearly helps you communicate with confidence in any situation. Now, let's explore expressing preferences with detail. Instead of saying, I like this more, you can say, I tend to prefer this because it feels more comfortable. Or, I usually go for this since it suits me better. Or, I'm more drawn to this option. When you don't prefer something, instead of saying I don't like it, you can say, it's not really my style, or it doesn't quite appeal to me, or I'm not particularly fond of that. These expressions sound polite and natural. Let's practice expressing preferences. Think of two activities. Say, I tend to prefer reading because it helps me relax. Or, I'm more drawn to outdoor activities. They give me energy. Now think of something you don't prefer. Say, it's not really my style. Or, I'm not particularly fond of that. Repeat gently. Detailed preferences make your English expressive and advanced. Next, let's focus on expressing urgency and importance. In daily life, some situations require quick action, and you may need to communicate that clearly. Instead of saying, this is important, you can say, this needs immediate attention, or this is quite urgent, or we should take care of this as soon as possible. In less urgent situations, you can say, there's no rush, or take your time, or whenever you get a chance. These expressions help you manage expectations clearly in conversations. Let's practice. Imagine something urgent comes up. Say, this needs to be handled as soon as possible, or it's quite urgent. We should act quickly. Now imagine something is not urgent. Say, there's no rush at all. Just do it when you can. Repeat slowly. These expressions help you communicate priorities smoothly. Now let's move into describing conditions and possibilities. Instead of saying, if this happens, I will do that, you can use more advanced expressions like, if that's the case, then I'll, or should that happen, I'll make sure to, or if things go as planned, I'll. These conditional expressions help you speak more naturally and smoothly. They also help you sound more nuanced and flexible. Let's practice. Think of a real situation. Say, if everything goes well, I'll finish by tomorrow. Or, should anything change, I'll let you know. Repeat slowly. Conditional expressions help you sound confident and prepared. Another very useful area is expressing encouragement. Encouragement appears in friendships, family conversations, workplace situations, and personal growth. Instead of saying, "You can do it," try, "I believe in you," or "You're more capable than you think," or "You've handled difficult things before. You'll get through this too." When someone feels nervous, you can say, "Take a deep breath, you're doing great," or "Just take it step by step, you're on the right track." These expressions help you support others emotionally and connect more deeply. Let's practice giving encouragement. Imagine your friend is stressed. Say, "You're stronger than you realize," or "Take it one step at a time, you're doing amazing." Repeat slowly. Encouragement helps build strong communication skills rooted in empathy and confidence. Now, let's explore expressing satisfaction or dissatisfaction. Instead of saying, "I'm happy with it," you can say, "I'm really pleased with how it turned out," or "I'm satisfied with the results," or "This is exactly what I was hoping for." When you're not satisfied, instead of saying, "I don't like it," you can say, "This didn't quite meet my expectations," or "I was hoping for something a bit different," or "I'm not entirely satisfied with this." These expressions sound professional and polite. Let's practice. Think of something that turned out well. Say, "I'm really pleased with the results." Now think of something that didn't turn out well. Say, "It didn't quite meet my expectations." Repeat softly. These expressions help you express your reactions clearly and maturely. As we keep building these communication techniques, remember that fluency comes from exposure, repetition, and using language in real-life contexts. Each phrase you practice brings your English closer to natural, effortless communication. As we reach the final lesson of Today Masterclass, let's explore one more essential communication skill that will elevate your English in daily conversations. Summarizing. Summarizing helps you repeat the main idea of something clearly without giving too many details. Instead of saying, "This happened and that happened," you can use natural expressions like "to sum it up," or "basically," or "in short." These phrases allow you to communicate effectively when someone needs a quick explanation. For example, if your friend asks how your day went, you can say, "To sum it up, it was busy but productive." Or, "Basically, everything went smoothly except for the morning rush." These expressions make your English sound organized, confident, and fluent. Let's practice summarizing. Think about your day so far. Now express it naturally using a summarizing phrase. You can say, "In short, it's been a pretty good day," or, "To sum it up, I accomplished most of what I planned." Repeat softly. Summarizing helps you stay concise while still sounding expressive. Another important skill we should cover before the lesson ends is describing possibilities for the future in a hopeful, practical, or uncertain way. Instead of saying only "maybe," you can say "there's a possibility that," or "it's likely that," or "I'm considering the idea of." You can also express hopes like "I'm looking forward to," or "I'm excited about the idea of." These expressions give depth to your future plans. For example, "I'm considering the idea of starting a new hobby," or "There's a possibility that I'll travel next month," or "I'm looking forward to improving my communication skills even more." Let's practice describing future possibilities. Think of something you hope to do soon. Say, "There's a possibility that I'll try something new this week," or I'm excited about learning more English in the coming days. Repeat slowly. This helps you feel more confident speaking about the future in natural English. Now let's explore speaking with confidence, which is the ultimate goal of everything we've practiced today. Speaking confidently doesn't mean being perfect. It means being comfortable with expressing yourself. Instead of worrying about mistakes, try using supportive phrases for yourself, like, I can express this clearly, or I know how to communicate this idea, or I'm improving every day. When you speak with calm confidence, even simple phrases sound strong. When you approach English with fear, even the best vocabulary feels difficult. Confidence is built through repetition, patience, and understanding that communication is about connection, not perfection. Let's practice internal confidence. Take a moment and say to yourself softly, I'm improving every day, or I can communicate my thoughts in English, or I'm becoming more fluent step by step. These inner sentences matter because your mindset shapes your fluency. Now let's finish this lesson by reinforcing the value of everything you've learned. You have practiced greetings, describing your day, expressing opinions, handling misunderstandings, making suggestions, expressing emotions, talking about goals, summarizing information, and speaking with natural confidence in daily life situations. This combination of skills creates a strong language foundation that will help you speak more fluently at the B1, B2 level and move confidently toward advanced fluency. Remember that daily life English is not simply vocabulary and grammar. It's communication. It's about expressing yourself clearly, understanding others, and connecting in real, meaningful ways. And every time you practice these phrases, your English becomes smoother and more natural. Let's practice one final moment of self-expression before we close. Think of one thing you want to improve in your English journey. Now say softly, I'm working on this, and I will get better. Whether it's speaking faster, listening more clearly, using advanced vocabulary, or expressing your feelings confidently, step by step, practice by practice, you are growing. That growth is fluency. And remember, communication is a daily habit. Try to use even one or two of the phrases from this lesson in your real conversations today. The more you use them, the more naturally they will flow from your mind and your voice. You are much closer to fluency than you think, and every practice session brings you another step forward. Thanks so much for spending this time with me and practicing your English today. I'm really proud of the effort you've made throughout this entire lesson, and I hope you feel more confident, more prepared, and more fluent than before. Every minute you invest in learning English brings you closer to the speaker you want to become. And I'm grateful that you chose to learn with me here on English in Minutes. If you enjoyed this masterclass and want more videos to help you advance your English listening, speaking, and daily life communication, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a new episode. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and keep moving forward. Your English journey is just getting brighter. Take care, and I'll see you again in the next video.